I am the Headless Headhunter. I am a corporate recruiter here to review your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. The resume we have up first is a front-end developer. This is a third revision of this, and this one I really like. So I did a quick meet or yeet of this, and the answer to that was it was a meet. I found basically what I needed. So what we're going to be looking for is JavaScript, React, AngularJS, HTML, CSS, PHP, SQL, Scrum, Agile, RESTful APIs, SEO, WordPress, Git, Docker, Jira, Vue, Next, bonuses for any extra languages, Cloud UI, UX, SaaS, and TypeScript. So I liked it. Let's see why I liked it. In fact, my only real problem here was this first part, which is I didn't really need Figma that much, and I don't think it should start, and I actually almost didn't see what I needed to see because of it. So I would recommend we just say created, responsive web pages using this stuff while translating it to Figma or something. So it's not that it's terrible to have Figma in your resume, but your first thing we read should be the tech stack, and this is what I want to see first. So I want to see these first because that is what I'm going to be looking for. But the rest of it is fine. And then Jira, which also is something good. Streamline workflow, implemented agile methodology for the group management, use Git for version control. That's also good. I would say that we want to switch this up. So this is a bit nitpicky. This is going to be a pass for me practically already because I have what I need. But this bullet point should be switched with this one. So normally I try not to say which bullet points are more impactful because it's important to have all of them. But in this case, you want the tech stuff first and how you manage with stuff a little bit second. So these should be switched. It's still solid though, because it has Git, it has Agile, Scrum, and it has Jira. And then developed using Firebase, so SQL. I would just say NoSQL. RESTful APIs, which is really good to fetch, deploy, and improve to database. This is fine. Refined UI UX by implementing React libraries. Good. UI, yeah. So this is exactly how I want it to be written. Excel and WIS maintaining. I don't know if I need this as much. This is a lot of Excel stuff, but this is exactly the kind of stuff that I'd be looking for. I am a little confused because it looks like you got this a year after graduating, so I would probably change this to maybe status graduated unless this makes more sense, or this was supposed to be June. And you do not need to tell me when you started. I don't need to know how long you've been going to school. I just need to know if you graduated or not. That's it. You do not need to tell me that you took 4 years, 20 years, or 2 years. I myself took way too long. So I will not judge you on it, but you don't need to say it, and it's needless information, and you want to keep your resume as compact as possible. But yeah, this is really solid. My only complaint is I don't really have anything here that I need as much. Let's see, projects. So normally the internships are ahead of the projects. I would switch this. I don't know if you need these in your resume, and then maybe you should put your projects next. So it really depends on what you're going for, but I don't need to know data entry clerk, especially because you were only there for 4 months. I would leave that off. If you were not there for a very long time, that is a bit of a mark against you. But you can use this because you were there for a year. It's okay. It does show you've been in actual corporate stuff. So I would maybe keep this and leave this to just a single line that just says briefly what you did. And then it'll go directly into the projects. And you do not need to tell me the dates on the projects. Projects are assumed to be pretty short, and the dates don't matter. So to summarize, you have mostly what I want. These 2 bullet points should be switched. This needs to be ahead of Figma. You do not need to tell me when you graduated, only that you did. And I believe you should just delete this, put this down to 1 line. In fact, if anything, you could just say warehouse associate and not put any bullet points, and then go into projects where you actually show the rest of it, and that should help. But you're already getting a 1 in 50. This stuff will make it even better. So but this does pass, all right? I want to be clear. This is a pass. Already it is a pass. So it is good. This is how to take it from a 1 in 20 to a 1 in, from a 1 in 50 to a 1 in 15, and keep making that ratio even better. So that's all I can do with this resume. If you need more help, you can always stop by my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. PST. And hit that bell, the subscribe button, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a software developer full stack. They have been following me for a year now. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I would appreciate if you could check the internship experience in a few projects. Should I keep the Dungeon Monster project? It is in C, C++, and shows a lot of effort. Should I keep the research experience? Okay, so I did a meter yeet of this video, and the answer to that was a yeet, which maybe you'll find here if I figure out how to do editing on my videos. So the reason I could not move you forward is I could not find this. Now, I know not every single full stack is going to involve Python or Java, but some of them are C, C#, and then you'd have to replace it with like those for like Docker and whatever it was. But I did not see TypeScript or JavaScript or CSS or HTML. Sorry, JavaScript, CSS, or HTML. I did not see them. And I don't know where they are. So JavaScript, okay, you cannot have them here. You cannot have them here. They have to be in the bullet points. So my biggest issue was I could not find what I needed. I even gave this extra time by mistake. So this should not be bolded. In addition, if you're graduating in May, are you looking for full-time roles or intern roles? Because this could work as a software engineer intern resume, but it would not work as a software engineer full stack that's not an intern. So I'm not sure what you're going for, but I'm going to have to judge it by full stack. And by full stack, it doesn't succeed. So there was nothing here I needed. I don't know what Blazor is. I've literally never heard of it. And someone in chat apparently said it's the equivalent of what Laravel is to PHP. This is to C#. I don't think they're asking for it. Now, I did not look up specifically full stack C# roles, so maybe, but I don't think they're asking for that. This is okay, but I don't know what LinQPad is. I don't know what the CFV is, and I do care about SQL. That's fine. In fact, this is a weird case. Normally, I tell you to write out the acronyms. You can just put SQL. You don't need to say SQL Server Database. You can just say SQL Database. As long as the hiring manager understands that, that's okay, but the recruiters will just see SQL. So my problem is I go all the way down here, and I can only find two things, right? Which is SQL and C#. And I'm being generous on if C# is what they're actually looking for or not. But I don't know what an interactive... This doesn't have anything, right? Like, that's the problem. You don't tell me what you did. You can't just say used Blazor and MudBlazor. I don't know what that is. I don't know why I'm be looking for it. Develop custom tools using NumPy and Python. See, this is okay because it has Python APIs and it has NumPy. And NumPy is nice to have, but you can't just have C#, NumPy, and SQL. If you're going for full stack, I need to see the front end. I need to see the JavaScript, the CSS, the HTML. And I don't. Or React or anything. Data for, again, university. Again, Python, NumPy, and Git. Git is okay. But this entire thing, and I just saw Docker, has maybe 5 things I'm looking for in 7 bullet points. You need each bullet point should contain about 2 to 3 things I'm looking for. And this does, there's 7 of them, and I only found 5 things. And I still don't see the front end. So developed a full stack using, this is good, using JavaScript, HTML. You don't even need to say that on the front end. You can just say developed a full stack conversion platform using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Node.js and Express. I don't know if Express is needed, but this is good. So this is what I would actually be looking for. Wait, you used AWS here? Where? Okay, so here's how you would write this, okay? You would say develop the full stack platform using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Node.js in an AWS environment. That way you get all of them in the same one. And then you can say to automate it, blah, 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 blah. But that's what I want to see. That is actually what I'd be looking for. If you did not have the relevant experience in that with here, then I wouldn't put it in. And you did say, like, so this is what I would actually be looking for, and this is what I want to see how you write it. And you're asking, should you change the projects? The answer is, they're not going to go this far down. If you look at the meet or yeet, if you look at the meet or yeet video, you will see how long we actually have. And this is why this is the most important part. Now, if these, which should not be bolded, do not have the correct skills, I would just put like software engineer from X to Y, undergraduate researcher X to Y, software engineer intern X to Y, and then I would not list what they have unless they're relevant. That way it moves directly into this. So you cannot do this. I do not want you to put this here. It doesn't matter where you say founder. It's a project. I assume you made it. Founder is irrelevant. You also don't need to put the dates for the projects. It's okay to just, they're projects, you know, the dates don't really matter. You could work on it in 1 day or 200 years and still spend the same amount of time. Build backend with Muller, don't care. PDF libs, so PDF libraries, I assume, for PDF mergers. I don't care about anything here. AWS, and this is also good. So you could have that here and here. But they're not going to go this far down, and that's the problem. Oh, I didn't even realize Bear was here the whole time. Sorry, Bear. They're not going to go all the way this far down, right? This is about all we get to see. Maybe we get this far down. If it's past that, they won't see it. Now, it's okay to have a longer resume, but that's specifically for the hiring manager, not for the recruiter, so you want both. So my issue with this is it just doesn't have what I need. Is, you know, you're asking, like, you know, it shows a lot of effort. Yeah, those are fine. This is, well, let me actually read it because you especially mentioned it. I mean, it's okay to use a module AI, but this may show a lot of effort, which I think is really cool because I know what a roguelike is, and this actually sounds like a game I would play. But it doesn't matter. Like, if I'm not looking for that, it doesn't matter the effort you put into it. And I'm not trying to diss this because I think this is cool on a personal level, but not if I was recruiting for this role, because it doesn't matter. The C and C++ might have mattered, but the rest of it doesn't. And maybe the AI. And then that. So it doesn't matter how much effort you put into it, which I really hate saying. It matters what they can see from it and how relevant it is for them. So this is a fail on the resume, but I don't think it's going to take you more than like an hour or two to fix it, and then you'll start having even more success. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a transportation engineer. I don't know, actually. This may not be. So they told me specifically, and this is why I have that in the first one, is urban planning / civil engineering. That's not a job title. I don't know what that is. I had to look it up. That could have been one of 5 different jobs, and all of those jobs I bet have different keywords. So I picked out of those transportation engineer. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's what you are. I don't know if that's what you're looking for. But this is for a transportation engineer. So that is your first problem, because you have specifically a terrible ratio, 150 to 1. That's the amount of applications it takes to get an interview. You were applying to city planning, public space, civil engineering jobs, and have not been able to get a job since 2020. I'm wondering if my freelancing self-employment is a red flag or the reason behind this, despite having an impressive portfolio. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. So, in most cases, a freelance work is a red flag. But there are exceptions to that. And the problem with this is slightly beyond my knowledge of this industry. So some of the exceptions that are art and graphic design. Graphic designers and artists are expected to be freelancers. Most of their work is freelance, and it's okay to have mostly freelance. If you have a software engineer, that's a red flag. If you have a graphic designer, that's normal. I don't know the urban planning civil engineering world enough to know which of those it is. I am normally going to assume it's bad, but I don't know enough about this industry. Safe to say I have never recruited an urban planning civil engineer, or in this case, a transportation engineer. So the first problem is I don't know what you are, and it doesn't sound like you do. Your resume needs to be tailored to a specific role, not at an individual company, at a general thing. So all transport engineers will have some of these keywords. This is a very quick look because I didn't even know this is who you are, so this is close to accurate, but it could be better. But as an example, they would have these. So I'm going to look for these that are the closest I could find given what I believe you are, and we'll see. First off, you completely doxed yourself at the top, so I cannot scroll past this page. When you submit it to me, please remove your personal information. I don't need to know your phone number or your address or your email. That is entirely not needed for public reviews. So, skills section, doesn't matter, needs to be deleted. If your skill is in a skills section, it doesn't matter because I need to see it in here. That's the previous resume. I need to see it here. This is where I need to see your skills, right? This is where I need to see them. If they're up here, it doesn't count. The other thing is I need to see your education up at the top, and none of this should be bolded. This makes it a nightmare to read in 20 seconds. Although it looked like the civil engineering / transport engineer job was actually pretty solid, so the fact that you have 150 is worse than normal. I'm not trying to like insult you, I'm just saying like it looked like the market was pretty good for it. So this is exceptionally not great. So let's see. So this should be up at the top. Which I don't think people can see. Their education is right below this point that I'm highlighting. I cannot scroll because I do not want to dox them. So should be up here instead of where the skills section is. Transit, this needs... So here, you never want to put founder and CEO. That is a giant red flag in a lot of places. You just want to say transit engineer, right? Just say your job title. So assuming this works like software engineering and not like graphic design, this is a giant red flag. And even when it's with a software, like even with a graphic designer, they usually don't say like CEO. Like what the thing is, why would you hire a transport engineer from a CEO? You don't go to the CEO of a company and say, hey, you want to be a transport engineer? You don't. It's not how it works. So that is actively hurting you, that part. So what we're looking for, which is still, I don't even know if it's right because I don't know what you are, is your degree, roadway design, geopack, microstations, open road, microstations, okay, that's twice by mistake, AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, and probably more. That's the only thing I could find, and since I didn't want to spend too much time on this, since I don't know what you are. But those are the things I actually care about. So, hosted a conference. Why do I don't care that you hosted a conference. I understand that is impressive to you. It is not impressive to the people reading your resume, and even if it is, they're going to say, well, that's neat. Don't care. That's not what I'm looking for. It does not matter how impressive you did. It matters how relevant it is to the job that you're applying for. Led a startup team of 3, organizational structure. That doesn't matter. Why do I care about that? Also, it's not financially stable if you're looking for another job. So establish an administrative partnership. This makes there's nothing here. There's nothing here that's related. I would 100% remove this. The gap is better than what you have here. The gap in most cases is better than what people have. So, all right, nothing here should be bolded. Developed a GIS database, which is geo something, to better catalog parcels. Why do I care about that? Orchestrated a public outreach for stakeholders. I mean, the stakeholders could be, but that's not what I'm looking for. Project alignment. What is this? Design. Yeah, there's nothing here. I don't see a single thing I'm looking for. Again, could be these are not what you're looking for. I don't know. But a bigger problem is stop bragging. I don't care about your brags, okay? I just want to know this stuff. This is why resumes are bad at bragging, okay? Bear, you're a good boy. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling that resumes are BAD. So resumes are terrible at showing how much you can brag, and this is why. This is not what I'm looking for. I don't see anything I'm looking for. Again, it doesn't count when the skill sections are at the very bottom. It has to be here. These are what I care about. So I don't know how to help you with this, but resubmit. Read my guide. This is a case of where my guide will really help you out. It goes over the basics of this. Read the guide, resubmit to me, and then I can help you out with a job title I can actually find. Because it looked like this market was actually hot, so something is critically wrong with your resume if you were getting 150 to 1. And based on what I'm looking at, I'm 99% sure you have nothing that they're actually looking for up here, despite actually doing it. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. And again, I'm not trying to be mean. I want to make sure this is harsh so that you can get a job, because you've been out of work for 4 years. 5 years now. Whoa, 5 years. That's terrible. That's not good. That's bad. I do not like that. I want you to get a job. That is why I'm doing this. So I hope this is not too mean. I hope this is being cruel to be kind. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a software engineer intern in Australia. With the full disclosure that I have never recruited in Australia. I would like to, so the market might be slightly different. I did check these keywords and they seem to be the same, but there wasn't a large sample size. So for what we're looking for as a software engineer intern is pretty small and simple, which is where a lot of people mess up. They overcomplicate it. We're just looking at your degree, that you have a basic knowledge of the tech stack. Again, for interns specifically, it does not matter if you're full front, back, or back. It just matters any of them. We just want a little bit of the language, a little bit of the library, SQL, Cloud, maybe Agile, just a little bit, all right? Not a ton, all right? So just like Python and Docker, or Java and Spring, or the TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, or whatever. So that's all, not a ton. We want to know that you can work well with others and that you can take direction and criticism. Remember, not leadership. You are being led, not leading. They want to make sure they can lead you without you having a crash out and flipping the table, which, while rare, most people hiring have had that happen to them at least once. So that's why they want to see that in the resume. So bachelor's, this is fine. You don't need this underlined, but that's a minor detail. You also stated some questions, which I almost forgot. All right, so university student currently applying. Look, I really like how you formatted that. I just want to thank you personally. That made it a lot easier to read. Looking for any internships in my field. Yep, again, could be anything. That's fine. Internships are typically broad for bachelors. I don't have much real. Okay, cool. So let's see. Student reporting system. So nothing here should be bolded. You do not want to do this. This does not count. You need to show me how. The reason this does not count is I don't just need to see it under a bullet point. I need to see it in a way that shows me how you used it. The how is almost more important than the what, half the time. And then the result or the reason. So architected and implemented an automatic system using blah, blah, blah. So you literally just had to say using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you would have said that, this would have been a good sentence. But you didn't, so this is nothing. So this needs to be deleted. This needs to be here. Worked with around limitations. Technology offer a zero-cost solution. I don't know if that's exciting to them, if that's what they're looking for. But again, I want to know how you did it. So Monstar. Is that the villain in Space Jam 1, the Monstars? Oh, that dated me. Okay. I took my parents to see that, like, no joke, literally 12 to 13 times in a row. I feel so bad for them. I would not stop watching that movie, and they took it to me so often. So MongoDB Express. Again, this needs to be here. The problem with this is this does not have this stuff. Also, I don't really care about ngxgraph, Caddy, or Akami, or Cloudinary. Unless that's specifically an Australian thing, because again, I am a US-based recruiter, but it doesn't look like I would need it from what I've seen. But I would need Angular, and I would need potentially MongoDB and Node.js, but I need it here. Develop the backend using Node.js, Express. I don't know if Express is needed. MongoDB, okay. Implementing Google authorization, don't care about Google Auth, but RESTful APIs I do. So this is almost a really good bullet point. Develop the front end using Angular, good. I don't care about the rest of that. Delegated tasks, again, we don't want to know how you delegated. We want to know how you took being delegated to. So there are 3 types of like leading stuff. It's how you led others, how you worked well with others on the same level, and how you took direction and criticism. I do not care that you led 3,000 people to do whatever it is to create the best Python project. I care that you were led by those people and you worked together. Those are the bullet points I'm missing. Teaching weekly Python to primary. See, this is solid. So typically when you add stuff like teaching children, I used to be a substitute teacher, and I used to work with like parents and teachers at a gymnastics gym when I wasn't really a recruiter because I wanted to try out something before going back to recruiting. I was also a private investigator before going back to recruiting. And working with that clientele is always going to be tough. So that's actually really solid. I really do like this. Again, should not be bolded. None of it should. But and keep it past tense. So taught weekly Python, Java, C, C# to primary tier students across 8 different schools. Achieving that one's actually pretty solid. Use supply chains breakdown goal student independently. Again, this part I don't care as much. I still want to know how you were led and worked around with others, like especially, and adults is good too. But this is not bad, and I do like it. I actually really like this. So I just need more, right? Like I think this programming tutor should be up top. I think that should be your first one, because taught weekly Python scripts to primary students shows core fundamentals. Then you can have the rest of these bullet points. So that's what you're going to need to do, because right now I don't see it. And remember, I'm not going to be able to scroll down all the way to forever and everything. Oh, here's all your skills. They're all the way at the bottom. This is worthless. I need them in the bullet points. You need to show me how and the reason or result you use them. So does this resume pass? I don't think it does. I think it's close, though. Again, I don't think this is going to take you a ton of time to fix. So assuming my knowledge translates to Australia, that is the advice I do. You need better bullet points and then fix the formatting. And your programming tutor is very impressive. Very impressive. I think you should not put it in the middle of your resume. That should be up at the top after your education. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of, I have no idea. They said office entry level, nothing specific. I cannot help you with that. I need you to be specific. If you say nothing specific, I'm not able to give you good advice. The more specific you can give me, the better. I need to know exactly the job title you are looking for and more information. You did tell me some pertinent stuff, which is I am wanting to relocate to a new city, and I thought a remote job would be my best option as it allowed me flexibility. So first off, probably not. It is very difficult to get a remote job, especially entry level. Entry level jobs are typically, again, there's some differences in the market, but on average, they are going to people with about 5+ years experience. And they are paying less than the on-site roles. They're also way more competitive. But if you do want to relocate, you do want an actual summary. This is one of the few times in your resume you want a summary. So what you would do is before education, you wouldn't even say summary. You would just put relocating to X city by Y date. Can move earlier if needed. That way they know you are serious about relocating. Otherwise, they are not going to consider your application, because the amount of times I have had people that say they're willing to relocate when I was a baby recruiter, and I'd say, oh yeah, perfect, that'll be great. And then time came for them to relocate. They did not relocate. And that made me look bad, and the hiring manager looked bad, and could have gotten me fired if I kept doing it. So you can't just say willing to relocate. You have to show and prove that you're moving to the area by X amount of time. That is what you want to do. In regards to the rest of this, the keywords I found were for office manager. That's the only thing I could think of for being like an office, entry-level office job. I guess admin assistant. They're close keywords, not exactly, but close. So qualifications, this doesn't matter. Don't say it like this. This does not, you did not say how you did it or where you did it or the reason or the result of it. So this can be deleted. Education, please write it like I have here, like this. You don't need to tell me when you graduated. You just need to tell me that you did graduate. So graduating status, and you can put in you could just say dual bachelor's or bachelor's in arts management and music, status graduated. Then you go to your actual experience. None of this should be bolded. Manage event bookings for wedding receptions and various private. Okay, but how is that relevant? Ensure high customer satisfaction. Okay, could be through attentive service and prompt fulfillment of customer request. That's actually a solid sentence. I was with the way the rest of this resume was going, I was expecting not to like that, but that's a good sentence. So good for you on that one. Marketing and promoting the business through social media platforms. What platforms? Also, I don't know if they're going to care. Emails and networking. What email did you use? You did not tell me what it was. You are actually telling me how very well, which I do like. So I'm going to give you a lot of props for that. But you're not telling me what. So like if I'm looking for an office manager, I want to know your customer service skills, which this is actually a pretty solid way to describe it. I want to know that you can multitask. I want to know that you used Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and can use the computer. I need to know the industry you're in, which I guess this counts, and how you documented and organized them. which you don't say. In addition, never say business owner. That is an almost immediate red flag. If you ever have a business owner, you will probably get immediately rejected. Once you're in the interview, you can say that you were the owner and that's fine, but never state you are the CEO or business owner. You always just want to say like office manager or whatever the actual title you're going for is in regards to owning your own company. A self-owned company, unless it's in the art world, and even then sometimes, is a giant red flag. So, coordinate with music. Okay, how did you do that? Responsible for preparation, professional appearance of the stage. Okay, but like that doesn't. Okay, coordinate. You. I don't know how to help with this because I don't know what you're looking for, and your bullet points tell me nothing. This is an actually good bullet point, and it alone may get you interviews. Entry-level office jobs on site, not a lot of competition in most places. So I don't know. This alone could get you there. But I need more. I just need more. This doesn't tell me enough. In addition, why do you have this when you have this? Okay. Oh, because you're the production manager? Production manager is more related because at least like, oh my gosh, oversee operations. This is what I'm looking for right here. How did you do this? You need to tell me more information. You told me nothing, okay? So I want you to take a look at my guide. Please read through the guide, read what a good bullet point and bad bullet point is and how to create them, and find your job title to get these keywords, because I can't help you if I don't know. I need to know you to help you, and I don't know you enough. So that's all I can do for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell. It really does help me out. You can find me on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. PST. That's where I give out these keywords. And until next time, I'm here to help you get ahead of your job search.